G'day and welcome back to Torment Thursday. Last time we explored the government square and then we climbed down some stairs. Oh, not some stairs, a ladder. This time we'll look around down here. Okay, so we're down here. It's time to explore. It's a little bit laggy here. We'll see how we do. In fact, can we find out where he is? Lag while we open the map? It is opening the map. It'll take its sweet time. This game really does not run well on my system. Okay, so we don't get to find out the place from the map. Again, escape does not close that. I really hope they change that in the final UI pass. Let's go and interact with this thing right next to us. Crippled foreman. Segments of this bisected construct's legs lie scattered around it. Someone has painstakingly altered those pieces, giving them small limbs and tiny metallic heads. Nonetheless, they're not moving. The larger construct's turquoise eyes flicker out of sync with each other as they turn towards you. You feel a bubbling sensation in your mind. It must be the construct's surface thoughts, but they're too quick and alien for you to make sense of them. I don't understand, it says. The voice emerging from the grill around its eyes is soft, as though you're hearing it from far away. Don't they want to live? The viaducts are open. The commands are received, and yet... Its eyelights flutter. Every time I give my children life, they die. Oh, that's harsh. Let's go to the first one. These tiny things are your kids? Not anymore. They're inanimate and lifeless. Their adaptive personalities have been lost. I do not understand why they are dying. I have given the subjects of procreation a great deal of thought over the last century, and there's no errors in my calculation. My assistant Tarnish built my children's bodies to my precise specification. Their intelligence reservoirs is shielded against permanent loss. Its eyes turn away from yours as if embarrassed. And I want them to live. That should be enough. Let me examine them. I might be able to help. You can be really racist in this thing. Anyway. It does not protest, so you examine the motionless constructs on the ground in front of the foreman. From what you can understand of the technology here, the foreman's correct. This little construct should be working, but they aren't. It may be possible the flaw is not in them. You share this information with the foreman. I agree, and I believe a new direction has presented itself. My children need more energy to live, but my construction prevents me from transfers above a certain threshold, for good reason. Energy transfers above this threshold would lead to a chain of ruptures in my intelligent rings. I would die. Help me force myself to make this transfer, for I cannot do it myself. Help me give life to my children. What it asks is difficult. Difficult, but not impossible. The Order of Truth may be able to help us accomplish what it wants. Will you help me? I want to help you. How do I begin? Speak to Tarnish, my assistants. Seem very dispassionate about your failures to make kids. I've been through 27 iterations of birth, with each attempt more of my non-essential personality and intelligence rings rupture. Know that these small bodies are only bodies. 27 versions of my children have lived and died within them. Know that they lived long enough for me to understand their personalities and name them before they were purged. Lost, even. Okay. Can I examine you? Yes. Tarnish, open my preservation hatches and viaduct shields, please. Elderly workman shuffles over and does what he's asked. Oh my, I don't understand everything I'm seeing. But you'll need an extra set of hands if you're planning to do what this poor creature wants. I have hands to spare, of course. You've never seen technologies like this before. Wires pass through glass tubes threaded with pale light and star-speckled darkness. You glance over at Tarnish. He's looking away, arms crossed, as though unwilling to watch a stranger tinker with his master. From what you can see, the foreman's troubled mind is not due to his physical body. Something must be wrong with the intelligence itself. Let's say... Tell me how you and the other foreman came to be like this. I will not. It is not now I wish to revisit. Speak with the master foreman instead. Why do you not want to talk about your past? Because the Master Foreman revels in the past and will be happy to share it with you. I do not and would not. Why do you want kids? Need, not want. Pupils study the distant ceiling. When I was born, I began working in seconds. I did this until our creators shut down our bodies. The millennia since, I focused on designing the infrastructure beneath the other foreman's work, and instructing workers on how to execute these designs. Eventually, I realized I was unhappy. It began as a thought. Oh no, okay. Yep, because this interface is not final, which is why it basically will tick past text. From time to time, my workers brought their children to the manufactory, holding their small hands, explaining the mysteries of the place to them. It began as a thought. What would I teach my own children? To be curious, to explore, to ask foolish questions, to see the world above that we three have never seen. And when I thought these things, I saw the shape of my children outlined by the daylight. They already existed. Cool, let's talk to Tarnish. I mean, I could try and do a title search, right? And kill him and have kids. Then I would be creating parentless children, which, you know, doesn't seem great. The elderly man stares vacantly at a distant wall, muttering under his breath. His hands flex on the air, twisting and tweaking. As if he's repairing a machine only he can see. He jumps when you draw a breath in to speak. Yes, what? He says, his eyes rove past you, then halt, then return to the focus on your face with some effort. Ain't you a quiet one? We should hang chimes from your ears to keep you from surprising people. What do you need? What do you do here? I take care of me master, the under foreman. There used to be more of us when he was making things, but when he lost interest, that one hide 'em all. He jerks the yellow thumb at the master foreman. Hide 'em all, offer 'em more. Happened a while back, but I don't forget a slight. There. Is a good foreman, maybe the best, if he didn't have this fool idea in his head. How can I give the foreman's life to its children? Not sure. I've been tinkering with this one for 50 years, and I still only half understand him. He studies the air, rubbing his lips together. You might try examining him on your own, or you could try talking to the Order of Truth. They know more about old machines than I ever will. How do you feel about your master school? It's a fine thing to want children. Wish I'd had it myself. Too late now, of course. No ladies knocking down my door. Ha ha ha. Oh, of course, when people have children, it doesn't come at the cost of their lives most of the time. And that life doesn't belong to a creature that's old in notions. It's a shame and a waste, but it's what he wants what he wants, and he always has. Doesn't mean I won't miss him. What will I do if he's gone? I know it's selfish, but... how long have you worked with him? He said 50 years before. Couldn't say. On my first day I'd already met my wife. She was still married to, what's his name, with the fishhook tattoo. And I hadn't lost a finger and had grown it back yet, so... 70 years, give or take? I should retire, but there'd be no one left to mind him if I left. What would I do with myself, anyway? Why do you keep calling your master he? Worked for him a long time. I guess I stopped seeing him as a thing and more like a him. All of us have our little ways, even him. Okay, so let's go back up to the Order of Truth. Let's actually do this side quest. Because side quests are fun. So we go back to the square, and then we go back to the Order of Truth. And given my computer, we curse the long loading times. So how are you, viewer? I'm not as good as I'd like to be. I seem to have done something to my knee, and my knee is very unhappy with me. Trying to get that seen to, and it's means dealing with an unfamiliar system, so... that took much less time than I feared. Oh, that's a levy there. Can I speak to the levy? Nope. I spoke to the levy last time. That's the one that told me, hey, there's the Order of Truth. Go, deal. At what point do I have enough levels to rank up a tier? As I seem to recall, it's like it was 6 XP in the tabletop version to do like part of a rank up. But then, you know, I don't know what I can do here. That's all I wanted to know. I wanted to look at my character. Inventory? This takes a while to load up. Do 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 do. Do and yawn and character sheet. What do we got? We got all of these things. We got training in those skills, which basically makes things easier with them. I don't see anything I can use right now. If I go back to inventory, I've got all of these things that I just took. That is -2. Right. So it effectively gives you armor but reduces your max. At this point, I don't know why I would do that. 4 weapon damage and something. This is a crappy weapon, but this is a better weapon. It's my impression. Don't know why it seems to have gone not responding. In fact, literally to the point that my cursor temporarily went to the Windows not responding thing. I can't use this weapon, I guess? Equip item. Okay, there we go. So that seems like a much better weapon than any of the others I've had. Might as well use that. A light ranged weapon. Can I equip that? Yeah, that's only 2 damage, but it gives me range. And lets me use effort. Is there any way to, like, have a item swap between? I guess not. Alright, cool. Well, we're done with that. Let's go talk to Snarf. Snarf. Welcome back, fellow sentient. May I assist you with something? One of the foremen is trying to transfer its energy into its children, but they keep dying. Do you think you can help? Absolutely, the visitant says, then pauses. I must regretfully ask for a small payment of 75 shins to cover my expenses. I am a guest here and not an Aeon priest. The city does not fund my research. Here's the money! Lost 75 shins. Excellent. Let me ask you a few questions about the situation. Do try to be accurate, or the device I craft will be less effective. First of all, this is an unusual case. Machine intelligences are rarely driven to create offspring. Why did the foreman wish to have children? He believes the children already exist and are waiting to be born. Predestined existence. An uncommon philosophy, but not unheard of. It also raises interesting questions about the reason for the intelligence's infertility. Why can't it create offspring if it so obviously wants them? On to the second question. Has it had any success transferring its energy to the children? How long does it take for them to expire? I'm not sure. I see. Alright, unknown period of time. It doesn't take long, but it's not immediate. Firstly, how are the foreman's intelligences stored? Void arrays, shielded ring coils, or some other method? Shielded ring coils? Probably some other method. The foremen are extremely old. The problem is, like, yeah, I've examined it. I'd love to do that. Yes, the blessing and curse of the Numenera. So unique, and therefore so incredibly difficult to study properly. To classify them as they deserve. I shall do my best regardless. At any rate, I shall get to work. This shall not take long. Okay, goodbye. I hope this works. Otherwise, you know, this is the kind of thing where if I weren't streaming, I'd probably save reload. And go through and check. What I don't get is why I can't say, hang on, I will go and get the answers to these questions and come back. that is like something that seems really weird. That as soon as I ask him, I give him the money, he works on this device. It's not, he tells me the questions, and then I go and get the answers. That doesn't make any sense. This doesn't seem to be a time-sensitive issue. But them's the breaks. And down we go. Climb down. And this is the kind of thing where I think if I were to spend more time talking to everyone down there, I would have the answers to those questions. I thought I looked at the kids, but I don't remember what I got from that. I know that they didn't expire immediately. But really, and I looked inside him, but those two things didn't have enough information for me to say which. So if this doesn't work, I'm really tempted to just reload. You have brought a device from the Order of Truth. What is its purpose? To bypass the part of you that's preventing you from creating offspring. Very well, I am ready. Your assistant Tarnished does not want you to die. If you're gone, he'll have no one. Can't you find some other way to have children? Success. You hear a faint rhythmic clanking, as though a gear has come loose in a distant ancient clock. He has served me more than well, and he is not young. Perhaps I will wait, run more tests. I have nothing but time. Okay. I really want to redo that in a different way. But I guess I will save that for my own playthrough. Let's go talk to Tarnish. Thank you. He won't let go, of course, but maybe there ain't a way to give his children life without killing him. Maybe this will keep him going. Keep him from doing it until long after I'm gone. Good boy. How do I even know how much experience I need to level? Let's go to character sheet. Advance 180 XP. Okay, so it takes 180 XP. So, right, you can select each of these once per tier, and then you go up to a new tier. So I can get a new ability, I can reduce the cost of armor, I can increase my abilities, I can basically add to the amount of effort I can spend on a task. I can reduce the cost of spending effort. So see, this edge 1 basically means that I don't spend as much intellect when I do things. So if I were to increase that edge, that would then mean that I could push the amount I'm using it more easily. I don't think I'm going to do that though. I can increase my stat pools, which is to get more points. And I think, yeah, it's once per tier. So once I hit extra edge, I can't do that again. If I look at abilities, I can increase it. How does one increase that? It didn't. Okay. Improved ability. Doesn't actually let me select one, as far as I can tell. Improved skill basically allows me to add a new skill or to go from trained to the next step in it, which I don't actually remember the answer to, but basically it means that I get better at that skill. Anamnesis. I totally got that. So yeah, these would all help me in those checks. New ability would allow me to get a new ability, and I've got all the passives, so it'll allow me to grab something for combat. And you can see the activation cost here. So if I were to get most of these and then increase my edge on intellect, then most of them would become free, basically. So I could entropic field every turn, and as long as I didn't use effort, it wouldn't cost me any resources to use, so they would effectively become free. If I were to, yeah, and I'm thinking I might actually do that. I mean, not get the ability to do the edge. And reduced armor cost reduces the reductions from armor. So let's boost our intellect edge, because most of our active abilities are also going to use it. And then we'll go from there. Can she level? No, not yet. But yeah, cool. And there we go. So, let us go talk to the Master Foreman. Looks a little bit Megatron-y to me. Construct looms over you, frozen in mid-step. Its heavy limbs and barrel body have recently been polished by careful hands, but the joints themselves are completely fused. This creature hasn't moved in a long time. It studies you with eyes made of swirling orange fire. As with the other construct, you feel the bubbling sensation in your mind. This construct's thoughts are likewise unreadable. You call all your workers by position? It saves time. You workers break easily, or die, or retire. Now get to work. Get to work. After an hour of work, the foreman bellows you back over. You go over, stretching your aching arms. They feel somewhat stronger than before. Supervisor tells me you're not the tinsmith he hired, but I gave you some work to do and you damn well got to it. I respect that, but we only take on experienced tinsmiths here. Now, I don't want you thinking we let people work for free. Had the supervisor leave you some shins for that hour of work? Take it. Permanently gain 1 might pool. Maximum might pool is now 7. That seems like a reasonable deal. Now why are you actually here? Out with it. You can't move, can you? No, and I don't need to. Its eyes flashing. A passing worker gives you a look for triggering what's apparently a familiar story. Once we foremen were tools of the cartographers and their vast web of machine intelligences. Submerged in the song of their will, we worked through with thoughtless joy. Its voice is soft, tinged with synthetic awe. And one day the song fell silent, and our bodies froze where they stand, even now. Some of us had lost their faith in those first few centuries. Some of us thought that cartographers were punishing us or abandoned us. Only I saw their absence for what it was. It was a gift of free will. We were their tools no longer. We were our own masters, freed from the chains of thoughtless motion, free to imagine our future. So we did, for millennia. Both of the lies you described would have driven me mad. Of course it would. You are human and built to fail. Even the other foremen have fallen to varying degrees beneath the crushing weight of time and the absence of our creators. And then we got over it, unlike some. But that day, while the others dithered and wailed, I bent my mind to the future. I analyzed the work we'd done for the cartographers. To my shame, I found flaws in the processes, and I removed them. For the next cluster of centuries, I studied the vast catalogue of known technology in Numenera in my mind, and strung them together, creating new inventions for the day when the cartographers returned and reactivated us. But that day never came. But humans eventually did. Yes, and though you are flawed and fragile, you made perfect tools, just as we'd once been. Your people found us, and the era of my greatest work began. They asked us to help them raise the city until it cast all others in shadow, to cobble their artifacts and their trinkets into grand devices that would power every corner and make them safe from their enemies. And I told them I had a plan. You see the fruit of our mighty effort all around you. You don't seem to respect your human workers very much. Wrong. I pay them well and design safety measures to lower the acceptable worker loss threshold. I treat them better than they deserve. One of the passing workers rolls his eyes. They're lazy. They demand time for sleeping, eating, fornicating, and excreting. They refuse to tell me when each activity occurs. They are disorganized. I would replace them with automatons in a second if I had the proper materials. Tell me about the other constructs. Can't spend much more time chatting. shown an interest in us, and I appreciate that. The truth is, there are no other foremen, not real. Yes, there are. No, there aren't. You two always bicker like this? The artisan is a weaker mind, tarnished by our long years in the dark. It does nothing but ridicule my great work. The truth is, we were once a single mind, but when the cartographers left us, our minds settled into different containers, pools, if you will, while theirs grew stagnant and self-indulgent. Mine remained clean, untainted, pure. Ignoring this distant storm from the artisan, the master foreman continues. While the years poured past, I felt the slow ruin of the city the cartographers left behind, and it haunted me, and so I vowed to undo the damage that time had done. Pretty handy with machines. Want me to try and repair you? Keep your hands off me! If I wanted to be repaired, to defy the will of the cartographers, I'd have had your ancestors do it centuries ago. Have some sense! Let's ask about something specific. I need help repairing a crystalline device in the reef. Consultation, eh? Tell you what. Bring me a piece of the device. I'll count that as payment for advice rendered. Show the deal? Show the crystal shard to the master foreman. It says scanning the shard. Microfishes saturated with organic fluid. This device of yours is alive. Replacement crystals need to be grown, not made. Can't help you more than that. Growing crystals isn't my business, but let those ruin diggers in the Order of Truth might be able to tell you more. You'll find them in Government Square, up the ladder to my left. Good luck. Let's see, anything else specific? Nope. Let's do that, and then let's wander around a bit more, see what's around. And that's a pretty cool effect. But right, so basically they're generating power from what looks like rocket engines. The ancient ship is embedded in the rock, and only its lower portion is visible here. The workers are using its roaring engines as a smelting furnace. That is, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point of this setting. It's full of machines that probably weren't meant to do what they're being used to do. But they work that way, like, almost certainly grossly inefficient, but if you have a really powerful manufacturing tool, then you might as well use it that way. Let's go talk to Artisan. Master Artisan, at first glance, this unmoving, ancient construct seems nearly identical to the others in the manufactory. Suddenly when you move close, in the hazy aura of the forelight, you see the intricate, no, chaotic whirls of engravings, marking every millimeter of its armored frame, and the worker standing behind it is adding even more. As with the other construct, bubbling sensation, otherwise unreadable. Got it. Morning! It is morning, isn't it? I never pay attention to the time. It's not much use down here. I'm Artisan. What can you do? What can I do for you? What's your story, anyway? To be honest, I don't like thinking about it. All of us went slightly insane, but the other foreman and I don't dwell on things like the master foreman does. If you want the whole story in excruciating detail, the master foreman's the one to ask. Why do you have your fellow workers decorating armor? Because I want to be the most beautiful construct in Sega's Cliffs, the construct declares. The worker behind it chuckles. Joking! My eyes, well, not my eyes, but you know, they failed me a long time ago. But my other senses are still good. Very good. So when my workers want to show me a design, they scratch it out on my plate, and I feel it, and I give them feedback. Not that some of them need it. It's a long time to be blind. Why can't anyone repair you? The easiest answer to that question is, we don't have the parts, the artisan says, and lowers his voice. But the truth is, I'm afraid, nothing's going to make me blinder, but... It falls silent. The forge hisses and pops nearby. The first decades in the darkness were the hardest. Then I started seeing patterns in them. Simple at first, with the colors, depths, and shade, grand cyclical designs. I still see them, and I wouldn't trade them for sight. Gonna have to report that. To be perfectly honest, these artists don't need me anymore. They've done wondrous work in the city above, but they like asking my opinion, and I like giving it. Cheerful fella. What do your workers focus on again? Decorative etching, creative use of color, negative space, general aesthetics, and fiddly bits. Can you show me something your workers have made? Absolutely. Hold on a second. Let me get a sense of what might appeal to your senses. Nested senses whir into life on its shoulders, and beams of light fan over you in a space of a heartbeat. Not so interested in the arts, I see. Larga, get our visitor the contents of storeroom 39. A few minutes later, a stalker hurries out and places a heavy object in your hands. No charge. Call it a gift. In the Orbis rule. What's your opinion of your fellow foreman? Well, I don't like to speak poorly of my family. The construct breaks off when the workers behind it stinkers. It's true, they're difficult in their own ways, but of course we argue, and here we means Master Foreman and me, but that's to be expected. We've known each other for millennia, I understand. We went through decades of angry silence until, well, we learned to accept each other as we are. Master Foreman has beliefs, exhausting ones, that it can't help inflicting on others, and our broken friend wants to die, I think. But it puts it in a different way, but it does. And though we bicker, I care for them. How couldn't I after thousands and thousands of years? Goodbye, artisan. Go enjoy the sunlight for me. What do we got? We got something. Globe of Rule. Since globe clearly depicts a world, though it doesn't seem to be the ninth world. The more you look at the globe, the more intricate the details you discover, as if the globe somehow enhances and concentrates your vision as you examine it. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. That is a really concerning bug. Like, why did the globe vanish when I did that? That is not cool, game. This is the second time that's happened. Looking at something should not do that. Unless it somehow ends up in Calistage's inventory or something. Nope. It's gone. Yeah, that's another thing I will have to report. Mutant Allegan. Engine God cultist. Let's see what this thing is. Numenera, a dark sphere, inhabits almost every socket of this obelisk that stretches towards the cavernous ceiling. No one else seems to be paying the unstructure any mind. Like most Numenera, it's simply here, and if it can't be used, it's part of the scenery. The orbs gleam in the dim light. You lean towards them. Are they glass? Jewels? Eyes? Let's touch the nearest sphere. Your finger barely grazes the glass before it displays the image of a furred creature touching the surface from the other side. Purple vines studded with veins of lights hang from the branches of the trees behind it. You lift your fingertips and darkness swallows the creature. The orb is opaque once more. The orbs appear to reflect whatever action is performed in front of them. Let's hum a little song. Nothing appears in any of the dark orbs. Instead, whisper of many voices joins in the song, pearls from the obelisk, so low only you can hear it. Let's tell the orb a secret. With your lips nearly brushing the surface, you whisper a thought you've never told anyone. A too tall, narrow-hipped being, a visitant, appears in the long glass, fingers clasped. Meeting your eyes, it speaks words you cannot hear. You can, however, sense its thoughts. They tickle an odd part of your mind. Dizziness overcomes you, and you know the visitant speaks stolen words. Blood was spilled to take them, even though the cause was just. The visitant is deeply ashamed. It fades into the black orb, lowering its head. That was pretty cool. Let's go speak to Ali. I've already told you I want nothing to do with this harridan, but you bring her to my door. Ditch her someplace. Maybe then we can talk. Till then, peddle yourself somewhere else. Right, so they are exclusive companions. At this point. So, I think we've been going long enough now that I'm going to stop here. I think tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, next week, we will have a chat with Alagern after dumping Colorsig off. Because I can get her dumped back upstairs at the Order of Truth, and it looks like I can basically swap them around for a bit. True Torment style, so that sounds good. We'll do that. Until next time, have a great day. And if you've been enjoying these videos, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz. It is actually really important for me that you do that. It's good to know that someone is out there watching. Until then, bye.